join us on the floor for a special recognition? And most of all, the most important celebration we have during the month of October, the entire month is known as National Principals Month, and I'm going to call all of our rock star principals up to the floor so they can be recognized today. We proudly celebrate our Lancaster ISD principal and recognize each of them for their significant impact on our students' success and well-being. We thank each of you for your commitment to education and for going above and beyond for Lancaster ISD. Board, please join me in celebrating their outstanding success as campus principals. We know that they are the glue that keeps the district going. We truly appreciate you all. First time standing at the podium. Count you down. We're gonna do a good job. I'm gonna leave. Good job. Okay, so unfortunately, Dr. Jackson isn't here, so I'm gonna start our good job cheer for the principals. All right. All right. So 1, 2, 3. Good job. Good job. Good job. Good job. GOODJOB. Good job. Good job. So we're going to get a quick picture with you guys, and just definitely want you all to know that you all are appreciated. I hope you've been seeing your social media posts online. We have been getting great feedback, and so what that tells me is that the community appreciates you as well, so thank you. Some of y'all have the confetti on. Help a neighbor out, help a neighbor. Kimberly, help, yeah, okay. Thank you, principal. And at this time, if Ms. Monet Bryant could please join us on the floor. So this evening, we are going to take a moment to thank Ms. Bryant for her work as the Executive Assistant to the Superintendent and School Board. We appreciate all she's done for Lancaster ISD, and while she's off to new adventures, we are excited to see what is next for her. We'd like to present you with a small token of our appreciation, and we wish you the best of luck. Come on in the middle, Monet. And we'll get some without the confetti in Monet's hair and Trustee Nichols, just really quickly. All right, so hold on, Monet, we're going to do one photo. I just didn't want it with the confetti in here. Thank you, Monet. And board, you may return to your seat at this time. And I will continue with the board acknowledgements. On October 1st, Lancaster ISD participated in the City of Lancaster's National Night Out activities. Members from different departments in Lancaster ISD joined the festivities and spent the evening interacting with the community and sharing the wonderful things happening in the district. It was a great event, and that ended with a special performance from the Tiger Marching Band. And earlier this month, Dr. Pereira hosted the first LHS Key Communicators meeting of the school year. Throughout the year, students will serve as student advisors to the superintendent, and during this meeting, they discussed campus safety and security and provided valuable feedback regarding campus culture and climate. And on October 17th, School Board Secretary Carolyn Ann Morris hosted a successful town hall meeting for District 6, providing our community members with important updates about Lancaster ISD. Parents and attendees had the opportunity to hear directly from Superintendent Dr. Pereira and the executive leadership team. And Monday was an eventful day. Lancaster ISD kicked off the 2024 voting period by hosting its annual Stroll to the Polls event. Local leaders and special guests, including Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, radio host Dee Dee McGuire from K104, and political commentator Roland Martin and trustee Carolyn Morris joined the event to inspire Lancaster ISD seniors as they prepared to cast their voter ballots. Trustee Nichols was also in the place representing with other D9 organizations as well, and therefore it was a powerful event emphasizing the importance of youth participation in shaping the future of our nation. So we had a really good time there. In homecoming, we kicked off with a bang. We changed it up a bit and had the parade on Monday. It was an unforgettable experience with more than 53 organizations participating. Lancaster ISD campuses, students, organizations, and community businesses came out to show their Tiger pride. And the night ended with a community pep rally that brought the Lancaster community together to make memories that will last a lifetime, especially into next year at least. And for tomorrow, join us. We're going to have, continuing with our homecoming events and festivities, our Tiger Tailgate is going to start at 5:30, and kickoff for the homecoming game is actually going to be at 7 p.m., so we hope that you can join us. And some upcoming information and a quick reminder, please be advised that several of our campuses are going to be used as polling sites on November 5th, which is Election Day. And so as a result, November 5th is the Professional Learning Day and a student holiday, so no students will be in our buildings on that particular day. And we hope that you get out and vote. Thank you. This concludes our board acknowledgements.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Simpson. Great one. I also want to affirm our principals once again. So thank you guys for the hard work that you're doing. And continue to do. I also want to affirm Ms. Bryant for the work and service that you've done for the board over the time that you've been here. Definitely appreciate it. You will be missed. The next item on our agenda is citizens communication. Dr. Pereira.
Yes, thank you, President Jones. Ms. Simpson, I think we have a couple of folks signed up, so she'll introduce them as well.
Board President, we've received two. First, I will have Ms. Crystal Blackman. Crystal Blackman. So Trustee Jones, she has opted to not speak tonight.
All right, thank you.
We have another one, Ms. Lasagna Glover. Board Policy BD Local states that public comment during regular board meetings will be limited to 3 minutes. Please direct your comments to the board president and superintendent. If addressing an agenda item, please identify the item that you will be commenting on. Speakers may not use any individual's names or identifiable titles when addressing the board if the speaker is presenting a complaint regarding that person. Although the board cannot take specific action on citizens' communication topics due to legal requirements, they will hear the topic and the board may have the item placed on a future agenda item for action or refer the items to a board, commission, or committee, or refer the items to staff or study for conclusion. We ask that you state your name and address prior to speaking and identify the topic that you are commenting on. I will begin the timer after you have stated your name, address, and the agenda item. You will have 3 minutes to make your comments.
Good evening. My name is Lasagna Glover. I reside at 735 Lentisco Drive here in Lancaster. And I would like to, and I'll be speaking on the alleged allegations against my daughter that we changed schools for athletic purposes. I just stand here tonight and I thank you all for being supportive of my daughter. Ever since we have come into Lancaster High School, it has been a great experience. It really has. We have felt welcomed, we have felt supported, and the atmosphere here is one of love. And I've never felt that walking into any school. And so, speaking from the Glover household, we do appreciate it. Kennedy did want to speak tonight, but we do apologize that we didn't get her paperwork filled out because she also wanted to express how thankful she is to all of you. We certainly appreciate it. They did vote against my daughter that she can't play, although we provided them with evidence, but they denied us and they didn't provide us with any evidence. And so it was just really devastating to my family. But again, I can't thank the school, the administrative staff enough for being here. It has meant the world to my daughter, physically and certainly mentally. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. The next item on our agenda tonight is the Conservator's report. Board, we've moved this up from board matters up to now, because as she provides the report, I will potentially utilize some of this information to kind of keep us moving forward from the board meeting and make sure that we are addressing the items that have been brought forward. Dr. Francois.
Thank you, Board President Jones, trustees, and Superintendent Pereira, and community. It's a pleasure to be here this evening to give just a high-level overview. And I won't need it. I'm just going to talk tonight. Next month we'll have a video or a slideshow. But I want to just give a high-level overview of what's in the Conservator's progress report, which is posted on the district's website, and it's also in your board documents. So I will just give a few key points that are important, I think, for you all to be aware of. Exit criteria, as you know, there are 4 exit criteria goals, and so I'll just deal with those this evening. Exit criteria goal number 1 states that the Board of Trustees will demonstrate effective governance in accordance with TEC Chapter 11. I can give the board a lot of credit that that has been moving along very well. One of the areas I think that is particularly outstanding is that the board has consistently for the last few months followed the agenda assiduously and has paid very close attention to the consensus agenda and taken the time to approve the consensus agenda with very little effort to pull things from those agenda. And this report actually references what happened in September, so I want to remind you about that. Trustees have used appropriate questioning techniques. I believe in January of this year, you spent some time with your Lone Star Governance coach learning techniques for asking questions in an appropriate manner, and we noted that this has been happening. Another area that I commend you on is that you've started using the Lone Star Governance Time Use Tracker and have been approving that appropriately. What we'd like to see, of course, is that the time use would, again, be more focused on student outcomes, and that normally for trustees, that just takes time. And so over time, we'll start seeing an improvement in that. But my commendation is intended to point out the fact that you're using that time use tracker, you're paying attention to it, and you actually are going over it and talking about it and getting knowledgeable about what it does and to help you to stay focused on student outcomes. In September, the regular board meeting actually ran a little bit long, and so my concern is, I believe it was about 4 hours. This is a little out of the norm. You all had gotten to the point of getting your board meetings down to between 2 and 3 hours. That one ran a bit long because there was a grievance hearing. And I believe after speaking and having a debriefing with Board President Jones, there will be steps to address that and try to make sure that grievance hearings are done in a way that they don't impact the time that you're spending in your regular board meeting. So 4 hours was something that I'm sure you were not expecting and didn't want to happen, and I'm sure you'll work on that. Exit criteria goal number 2 states the trustees demonstrate an understanding of the difference between board work and superintendent work. And again, I give commendation to the trustees for attending the required school board member training. Many of those school board member training activities deal with the idea of separating board work and superintendent work. I would urge trustees, though, to be sure to focus on attending conferences that actually gives continuing education credit in those areas that are required by law. There are a lot of conferences that are offered, a lot of opportunities to learn and to grow, but I would urge you to really give a lot of attention to taking those training opportunities that will actually yield you credit, and that's very important that you do. Another area that I would like to see that you achieve credit, and that is by taking and doing the Team of 8 training before the end of this calendar year. We know that this has been discussed. It's in your progress report, a request that you get that out of the way, and so please be sure that you work on that. It's best to do Team of 8 training as early in the school year as possible. It's an opportunity for you, again, to spend time understanding and delineating the difference between board work and superintendent work. And so I urge you to have that training as soon as possible. Also, the report discusses the idea that you still have 2 more days of Lone Star governance training, and I believe that is being discussed and calendared as well. But that does not have to be done before the end of this calendar year, but the sooner you get it done, the better, because again, it provides a lot of good support to trustees to understand, again, the difference between board work and superintendent work. Exit criteria goal number 3 states that the board demonstrates sustained willingness to adhere to and implement best practices for communication among themselves with superintendents, staff, and community. I would say that this area has improved, but there's still some opportunities to grow. For example, there is still legal action being taken against current and former trustees. I understand the rationale for that, but it does give the impression that there's a level of inability to work together well. So hopefully once those legal issues are resolved, you will not have to resort to those methods in the future. And then finally, exit criteria goal number 4 states that all outstanding federal and state programmatic audits and or complaints are resolved. And in the past, of course, we know in August and September, you received the report that the child nutrition audit was finalized, that TDA reimbursements have been made, and from what I can understand, all is well. Dr. Pereira, I'm not sure if this is appropriate time, but I understand that there this district still will be part of an audit, but it has nothing to do with wrongdoing. It just has to do with you are in the traditional cycle of TDA auditing. That's not a bad thing. Every district goes through it. Every district experiences it. Yeah, every 3 years, every district has it. The good news is, since you have had such a rigorous review in this very recently, I would expect that Lancaster will come through this traditional audit without a problem. Of course, I'm not the expert, but the fact that you have checked off that audit that required that funding be withheld, you checked that off successfully. I hope that predicts the same for this regular audit going forward. And then finally, the special education complaints or concerns that have been coming in, they have been addressed very quickly. The director of special education reports every week at Cabinet about the status of those particular complaints, and they are being resolved as quickly as we can expect them to be resolved. What I commend the administration on is the alacrity at which they approach resolving those issues. The district does not drag its feet. They take the time to analyze the issues very quickly and address them immediately. So that's always a good thing. So to close out my report, again, I feel that there is progress being made toward demonstrating what I call maturity and decorum and a focus on student outcomes. As you continue to work with the Lone Star Governance Coach, what you will probably see is more and more time devoted to student outcomes, student success, and less time on adult behaviors and adult issues. So overall, your September report is a good one, and I hope that we continue to see the positive movement. So that concludes my report. And again, if you want to read the contents of it, it's on the LISD website, and it's also in your board documents. So thank you, Board President Jones.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Francois. I'd just like to take some time to commend the board with the progress that we are making continuously as we get through this process. We have I want to say we have until February, but I'm trying to give us a lot sooner than that to kind of get these items addressed. So if you take a look at the report, there are a few items that we still have outstanding.
Trustee Jones.
You would give me a second, I'm speaking right now. Once we get to those items that are currently on the report that we need to address, you guys just focus on that. That'll be outstanding. We can kind of get this part behind us.
Trustee Jones. I don't know if they can hear me.
Maybe she can't hear me. Trustee Whitfield? Okay. So that will be the focus right now. The other thing, definitely want to commend you guys in that our board operating guidelines are now posted online. We did approve those more recently, and look forward to moving forward in this particular area. Now, Trustee Whitfield, I see your hand is raised. Trustee Whitfield?
Yes, it sounds like he's whispering. I don't hear him talking into the mic, so I don't know if he even opened the floor for questions or discussion.
All right, the floor is open for you now.
To the conservator's comments.
To her report. Trustee Whitfield, I guess if you guys can speak to over there, maybe she can hear me.
Yes. Can you hear me? The report, as like last month, the report from the conservator, not seeing it uploaded to board book, or was that handed out manually?
The report is on the website. When you log into Lancaster ISD, it's listed right there on the banner.
I can't hear what he's saying.
Would you repeat that for me, please? The report is on the Lancaster ISD website.
So the reports that the conservator is doing is no longer going to be uploaded into board book. It's going to be on the Lancaster website.
They will be uploaded, but in this case, they are in both places.
They're in both places.
Well, it's not in board book right now, but it should be.
And it was. So if I understand correctly, it has not been made available to us as of yet. I was actually waiting to see if it was going to show up at the last minute. That's why I didn't say anything, but when I got ready to sign into the meeting, I noticed that it still wasn't there. And I didn't receive last month as, the last report as requested as well.
Okay, so
But
trustee,
no, they're both are not on here.
trustee Whitfield, on the website, you log in to lancasterisd.org. There is an actual tab that says corrective action plan, and that lists every one of the reports since its inception. But I do understand your comment regarding it not being in board book. That will be addressed, but you do have access to that report. I'm not sure if you can hear
I
me.
can't hear anything he's saying at all. I heard the Conservator, but I don't hear Trustee Jones.
Good evening. Is that better? Guess not. All right, I'm not sure what we'll do, but we're going to continue on with the meeting, and we'll get this addressed for you, Trustee Whitfield. If you just let her know.
We'll get this addressed for you as soon as possible. I know we can probably send you a link as well. It is currently on the website.
Okay, so let me just clarify, Trustee Jones, I could hear the Conservator very well when she was speaking, but when you're speaking from the dais, I cannot hear you. So I'm not sure if you're talking low, if the mics are turned down, or what the situation may be, but cannot hear you at all. And I heard the parent speaking earlier, heard her very clearly. So it sounds like there's something going on in the coming from the boardroom.
All right, so everyone is in the boardroom. I'm not sure what the issue is.
And I just want to make sure that we're having an effective meeting so I don't interrupt asking for anyone to repeat themselves or interrupting because something is going on. You guys' mics are turned down.
Okay, we're going to do a quick sound check, if we could. Let's go with Trustee Hamilton. Would you say something, please?
Testing.
Let's make sure if she hears us, she gives us a thumb up.
Sound check. Can you let me know when you can hear the other trustees speaking?
Yes.
All right, Trustee Hamilton.
Testing.
Are you able to hear Trustee Hamilton?
Everybody is vague. I mean, it's just faint.
All right, so
It's
let's
faint from the dais.
let's
I'm
do
not sure
this.
what's the difference between the Conservator's mic, the podium mic versus the dais, but the dais is low.
Okay, well, right now, I'm not sure what the issue is. We're going to continue with the meeting. We're going to try our best to accommodate you. I will strongly recommend that you join us at the next board meeting. We won't have this issue. We do have a seat down here with your name on it. The next item on our agenda is the superintendent's report. We will continue there. Dr. Pereira.
Thank you, President Jones. I'm going to call forward one of our partners today from Concentric with an update from its president, Mr. David Heiber from Concentric.
Good evening. Thank you so much. My name is David Heiber. I'm the CEO and founder of Concentric Educational Solutions. We are a student support organization, started in 2010, 16 years in. Prior to that, I was a principal in Baltimore City, so shout out to all my principals, well-deserved. You are the glue, clearly, that holds schools and communities together. That it's a heavy lift. So just give you a little update. So we're in 16 states, 48 districts, almost 300 schools, and our approach is really one door at a time. So we do know that chronic absenteeism has always been a challenge, but it was more pervasive after the COVID-19 stoppage. And simply what we're trying to do is knock on doors and ask students and families questions about how we can be supportive. So long ago, it's gone out of the way of attendance agents and truancy officers, and it has to be really supportive as we try to navigate getting back and really accelerating student outcomes. And so you have to forgive me. So I'm from Delaware originally. So in Delaware, you say Newark, but when you go to Jersey, it's Newark. In Pennsylvania, it's Lancaster as opposed to Lancaster here, right? So I apologize. But I said it right. I got it right. What's very interesting, and I've been doing this for 16 years, is that very rarely do you find districts that have the systems, the structures, and the hard work in place. And I know a lot, it's often said it's hard to be a prophet in your own land, but you've been very welcoming to Concentric. And this is the first district that we partnered with in Texas, and it was intentional. And I spent 2.5 hours today just driving around and just soaking in your beautiful city. And there's so much warmth here, and there's so much welcoming. And that is the beginning of getting students to not only want to come to school, but stay in school. And we started late last spring with a pilot. And under the leadership of your esteemed superintendent, the board, and Dr. Marcus Jackson, just with the systems and instructions in place to bring students back to a place that's warm and welcoming. And what's interesting is that one of the things that usually came out during the pandemic was that students didn't have technology. Schools did an amazing job across the country mitigating those barriers. Then it was transportation. There was some other issues. The number one barrier nationwide, and this is not
recording in progress.
This is not from statements or surveys. This is from students and families, is that students and families need caring adults in buildings that check on them every single day. And you have taken a marvelous step in doing that. We look forward to continuing the partnership, expanding it across the board, and working with the esteemed staff in Lancaster ISD and continue to do this work. Yeah, that's kind of it. Questions to the board or from the board? And I'm going through the data. So the PowerPoint, it was 194 visits that we did during the spring semester and going into the summertime. That would be expanded double this year, and getting in and getting out earlier and really understanding from the community. One of the things I don't want to be remiss in saying, you have so many valuable resources here, so many valuable resources, and it's really getting the resources to the students and the families in real time. And that is, you're ahead of the game in that. And so many times I know the board, boards across the country are faced with what you're not doing, or what districts are not doing, or what schools are not doing. There's so much great things that are happening here. We're just going to be an extension of that, and we really appreciate it, and we're humbled by it, and we're humbled by the hospitality. And I'm still trying to figure out how is it October and it's 90 degrees. I'm not accustomed to that, so yeah.
All right. Dr. Pereira.
Board, I just wanted to share with the board and the community, there are several things that we have in place to ensure that our students are successful in our district. But I can tell you one surefire way to think that ensures that our kids are here. You can't teach them if they're not here. And so Concentric really helps us with that, with our team, to ensure that our kids are here. And as you all know, for the third year in a row this past school year, we had a 100% graduation rate. And I can say without a doubt, that is because of partners like Concentric that makes that happen. Our team as well, obviously, are doing that work, but we have to have some external partners to help us through that process. Because just like anyone else, our team, they have more than one task to do. But knocking on doors is very powerful, to go to the homes of our students and make sure they have the resources that they need to bring them here. I'm going to say again, as you'll hear me say all the time, it's Maslow's needs before anything else. That hierarchy is necessary before any type of critical thinking or Bloom's taxonomy of instruction can happen. Got to take care of your personal needs. So I wanted to share with the community and the board.
All right, thank you, Dr. Pereira, and also thank you, Dr. Heiber. Are there any questions, comments from the board at this point? All right. Hearing none.
President Jones, I just want to say on behalf of my board is I've got an approval to give 10 $1,000 scholarships to the graduates of class of 25 on behalf.
Thank you very much. Yeah. We look forward to that being on our future agenda, so we look forward to it. All right, the next item on our agenda is the MTSS framework for 2024-25. Euphoria overview. Dr. Pereira.
Thank you, President Jones. Dr. Jackson's not with us tonight, so Ms. Matthews is going to fill those shoes. Ms. Matthews, Dr. Matthews, come forward, please. And the floor is yours when you're ready.
All right, thank you, Dr. Pereira. Good evening, Board President Jones, board members, and Dr. Pereira. Tonight, I want to just talk to you about our MTSS framework. MTSS by itself stands for Multi-Tier Systems of Support. And this is just giving you a little bit of knowledge and overview of what we are doing district-wide for every student. So for every student in Lancaster, we really want to focus on every need, every child, every day, and making sure that, as Concentric mentioned, that we are making sure our students are here, we're providing them with what they need to be successful. So with a multi-tier system of support, we look at academics, behavior, social and emotional needs that our students have. We focus on attendance, and we work with our parents to engage them to make sure that our students are able to be successful. This year, we're utilizing the platforms that we have, and so all of our information will be housed in Euphoria. This is a location where all of our staff can, and any staff member that's touching a student can house and look at data for those students so that we're all working together. So not having to go to various different platforms to find out information, it's all housed in one place. And so this is just an example of when you go into the student's profile, what it would look like and where we're able to house the information. What you'll see also here is just an example of where we can put various touches if it's a parent family plan that we've created, or a parent meeting, or if we've had a call, or if there were an SEL text message that we received. We all are able to list it on our journal tab in Euphoria so that anyone that goes in is able to see all of the various supports that we're providing for our students. Now, once we get into Euphoria, you'll see here on this particular student, there have been multiple activities that have occurred. When we have our initial MTSS referral, there's a form that's filled out, as well as if we have any additional documents. So if they are special ed students, we can enter their individualized education plans. If we want to look at attendance, we can put a clip of their attendance documents and be able to show so that as individuals are going in, all of that information is in one place for us as well. And so you'll also see this was an example of a student's attendance, and we had begun working with this student. They were having some attendance challenges, but once we put interventions in place, on this one you'll begin to see that those unexcused absences you'll see that those unexcused absences move to the student actually being present each and every day. So the interventions that we're providing help to change that student's outlook and their attendance. These key terms were just provided for you just to provide some understanding so we all know what we're talking about when we say MTSS or differentiation or SEL, and also when we talk about progress monitoring and the various tiers and levels of support. So you have this, I won't read it to you, but I did want to just give you an overview. But for every single student, we are looking at their needs and inputting that information into our Euphoria system. And I will answer any questions that you may have. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Matthews. Do we have any questions from the board? Secretary Morris.
Board President, thank you so very much for highlighting one of the most important things that we're here for as a board, and that's education. It's first and foremost. Everything else enhance the classroom learning, teaching and learning. And so I'm grateful, and I think that it is awesome. I think that it's awesome that we combine those with our extracurriculum activities, because a lot of our students, what they learn in the classroom, go further with those extra curriculum to choose choices in their lives after secondary. So thank you so much for working toward ensuring that, number one, our kids are in the classroom at school and teaching and learning is happening And then we can ensure that they're successful when they want to become some stars or great athletes. Putting that first. So thank you for all that you do and all that our teachers and classroom teachers and administrators and what you all do as well to help you fulfill those.
Absolutely, it's our pleasure.
All right, thank you, Secretary Morris. Any other questions, comments? All right, hearing none, we will move to our next item. Thank you very much, Dr. Matthews.
Trustee Jones, I'm sorry, I had a comment. Can you hear me?
Trustee Whitfield,
I'm sorry.
go ahead, ma'am.
Thank you. I just wanted to state that this MTSS, I looked over it and I thought this was a beautiful enhancement to what is being, what is being done. And this here is for it to be pretty much what it appears to be self-explanatory and the support of information and being able to effectively communicate and it shows, it provides transparency. And I just wanted to tell you that I'm grateful as a trustee to be able to see this and a parent to be able to see this.
All right, thank you very much, Trustee Whitfield. The next item on our agenda is August 2024 financial reports. Dr. Pereira.
Thank you, President Jones. I'm going to call forward Ms. Dana Mosley to present that information to our board and our community. Ms. CFO, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon, Board President Jones, board members, and Dr. Pereira. This evening, I present the August 2024 financial reports. You have a full version of the August 2024 financials in Board Book. The first slide represents the August 2024 tax collection from Dallas County. This report is generated from Dallas County, and the payments received for August is $308,007.57. This was the collection, but due to refunds and levies, the net collection was $249,384.67. The next slide is a general fund income statement. The top represents the income collected for August 2024. It's a cumulative effect. And then the bottom represents the expenditures we spent. Currently, right now, we're in the process of an audit, and so these numbers are subject to change, and they're unaudited. So these numbers will change. And we will be bringing forth the fiscal year 2024 financial audit report in January for your approval. Currently, right now, you see on the report as a deficit fund balance, but we are still booking entries, accruing revenue, and paying expenditures. And so these numbers, the books have not closed, and these numbers are subject to change. The next slide represents the revenue collected for August. As you see, local revenues are higher than state because of our property taxes, and the state revenues are lower because there is an inverse effect. The more property tax you collect, the lower your state revenue collections are. Our highest driver is taxes collection, and then the second driver is the formula foundation funds from the state. The next slide represents our general fund expenditures. The highest expenditures are our payroll. We received the Vader, the $1,800 that the staff got, we received that. Inflation caused expenditures to be higher this year. And again, these numbers are subject to change because we're in the audit, and we will have adjustments to our expenditures and revenue once the auditors come in and audit our books, because we have accruals to do for revenue, state aid revenue, attendance, collection, and then our expenditures. The next slide represents the food service collections for August. And as the conservator stated, we have received all the revenue that was due to us from TDA. So that's a good thing. And we're subject to, we're projecting a $2.9 million surplus in fund balance. And our child nutrition director has a plan to spend the required excess in fund balance, because as you know, in food service, you cannot have that much excess fund balance. So we have a plan to spend those down to the required balance. The next slide represents debt service. This is a representation of all the taxes we collect in our interest and sinking fund. And this is where we pay our debt from, and we made our bond payments in August. And also, LISD has prepaid $27.39 million of existing bonds, which includes the $13.06 million that we will prepay in February 2025. We have saved the taxpayers $22,294,050 since 2021.
One more time, please.
LISD has saved taxpayers $22,294,050 since 2021. The next slide represents the taxes we collect. We currently have two investment pools, Lone Star and Tax Pool, and this is where all our tax collections go, as well as our other revenue we receive from TEA. And we decided this fiscal year to have everything go into the investment account to receive revenue from interest. And so that's the report for August. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, CFO Mosley. Are there any questions from the board at this time? All right, thank you very much.
Okay.
Hearing now, we'll move to the next item, which is it HAKing? HAKing. Okay, Innovation, Engineering, and Robotics Project. Dr. Pereira.
Thank you, President Jones. I'm going to call forward Ms. LaTasha Murry and Mr. Harry Kennedy from HAKing Innovation. He's the founder and CEO to share some knowledge and some activities with our board and our community.
Good evening, Board President Jones, Board Trustees, and Superintendent Dr. Pereira. I'm excited to introduce to you this evening Mr. Harry Kennedy, who will provide you with information about our robotics and automation partnership with HAKing Innovation. New this year, the state of Texas revised the CTE programs of study, and what was formerly known as the robotics program is now the robotics and automation. This program has an emphasis in the assembly, operation, maintenance, and repair of electromechanical equipment or devices. Offering this program to our students prepares them to enter careers prevalent in our local region, given all of the surrounding distribution centers who now use robots and automation in their facilities, as well as meet a growing regional and state industry demand. Harry Kennedy is an award-winning engineer. Guess I should show that slide. Harry Kennedy is an award-winning engineer who previously worked at Texas Instruments and currently works at an engineering simulation company for artificial intelligence, machine learning, and manufacturing. He is the founder and CEO of HAKing Innovation, and HAKing Innovation provides workshops and camps focused on engineering design and building for students ages 6 and older. HAKing Innovation also provides paid internships for high school students and college students. And at this time, I'd like to present Mr. Harry Kennedy.
Thank you very much. Good evening, Board President Jones, board members, and Dr. Pereira. So I wanted to make this a little bit different and bring some of my team members and our students as well too. So we'll keep this moving, but I wanted to really say that first off, thank you to Lancaster for really giving us a vision. We were working at the STEAM conference last February and talking with Ms. Murry. She's saying, you know, we've done a lot of great things in Lancaster. We built an airplane, we built a car, but I want to try to build a robotic tiger. So the first thing I did was actually I brought one of my current interns, Mel, up and I said, we got a vision to do and let's see if we can pull it off. And so what we'll do is we'll showcase sort of that journey, but also the idea of how do we bring the application of engineering to our students? How do we meet them where they're at? But also how do we prepare them to this workforce development and really make sure they're focused not only with seeing the experience, but really owning it themselves. So first I'm going to hand out to Mel and explain the first stage of how we came to pull this vision off.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Melissa Gonzalez, and I am currently a student at Dallas College, and I have been interning with HAKing Innovation for the past 2 going on to 3 years. I was the lead for the robotics summer program that we did here at Lancaster, in which it was a 3-week week-long program where the end goal was to build a fully programmed and functional robotic hand. During each week, there's a different focus. First week being computer-aided design, where they 3D modeled something on the computer and build custom fingertips. Second week was hardware week, where they build and constructed the hand completely on their own, as well as learned how to use the tools for it. And the last week was fully about programming, in which they try to make a customized robotic, hand motion using what they've created.
And so we ended it off with a showcase to where we are able to highlight what the students learned, even brought back one of their former Lancaster alumni, which is currently at Texas Tech, and just trying to find ways to take what the community already has, take some of the people that have worked in the community, and really bring them back into this experience. And so through that process, we set the groundwork through our summer program, and we're now in the phase we're at right now, where we are going through this process of designing and building a robotic tiger, and really wanted something I haven't seen a high school program do this, even like in the Metroplex. I had to search quite a bit to find relevant examples and how to bring this together. And so we set the scope of saying, we want to do this robotic tiger, but it's going to take us steps to get there. So we started the program. Currently, we have about 17 students, and a really close to a 50-50 split of boys and girls. So we're showing that, again, that this interest may not be just for, a certain archetype, which we think of, which we talk about engineering, but when you make projects that are inclusive, projects that are creative, you start to bring students from all types of backgrounds. So I'm going to give some of our students a chance to talk about what they do with the program, and you'll hear from them now.
Hi, my name is Marciana Franklin, and I chose this program because I was interested in learning how to make circuits and how to build a computer. And while being in this program, I really enjoyed learning how forging a circuit together with metal and how making it a conductor and making electricity go through it. I really enjoyed learning that, and I plan on majoring in college, electrical engineering or computer engineering, and I plan on becoming an engineer or a game developer so I can make games to help people with mental stress, to help them manage their mental stress to escape reality. And that's why I chose this program.
Good evening. My name is Adamaris Garcia. I'm a senior in early college at Lancaster High School. I plan to major in psychology or biomed, and in the future I plan to become a forensic psychiatrist, if not a biomedical engineer. When I was younger, I was always interested in how everything comes together and makes a build, there's the 3D components, the coding, the everything. And so when I saw that they had a robotics program here, I was like, yeah, I should join. So I joined, and then ever since being there, I really love it. They make it, they're so welcoming. I always it makes me upset whenever I have to miss not going. So yeah, they're just amazing, and yeah.
My name is Kevin Smotherman. I'm a sophomore. I go to Lancaster High School. I'm on the baseball team, and I was in the summer program last year. This is where I heard about the program, actually. My mom signed me up for it. I wasn't really that interested. I was always interested in coding, but the actual robotics part of it, building and designing, they got me started on that. Put me on that. But yeah, the program is real fun. We're on task all the time. I don't really know what. It's just good program.
And I think what you can see is that we're trying to find ways to give the students a space to learn about not just the robotics, but also learn about themselves. It's actually most, I think, if not all of their first board meeting. And so, even that process of getting used to speaking in front of a board and presenting themselves. With this project, again, we're at the phase now where we have a prototype we're building out and building towards. Then we have to scale it. Then we have to turn it into like a tiger. So by the end of next week, Mel, we should have a rough draft design of the pupper. Yeah, so I really encourage you all to follow back up with us, reach out to us, stop by the classes Tuesdays and Thursdays. We'll start sending out more updates through Ms. Murry to make sure that comes together. I'm going to keep moving on. And also, we're at a phase where we're going to want to start bringing in other corporate partners as well, too. So I have a couple people in my network that we're going to bring in to come speak, but if you're having people that are companies, people that want to be engaging, bring them to this program, have them see the students, have them see the projects, and have them get excited just like we are. You can sort of have gone through some of the timelines from this as well on your own, but just says that we have a plan to what we're trying to accomplish, and we're working towards it, and the students are owning more of that plan. So the next part of it is that we're trying to take this not only from a one program thing, but how do you make an ecosystem out of it? And so our next partnership is that we're working with Faith pretty extensively to bring a VEX robotics team to each elementary school in the district. So that means every elementary school will have a chance to have robotics from 3rd to 5th grade, and really bring that idea of not just doing one program and showing up, but actually building an infrastructure within Lancaster ISD. So you guys already have FIRST Robotics through some of the great work that Faith is doing. We're adding VEX Robotics. We're bringing more engineering-based programming such that we can get this process not only through the design aspect of it, but also the communication and building on that. Proud to say that we already have, I just checked tonight, we're at 61 students already signed up across the districts. That's with minimal actual marketing. So it's a lot of word of mouth, a lot of parents sort of, telling each other. And so we're easily going to hit that number. So we wanted to fill some classes, so we're going to easily fill that classes. Then we're just building it out sustainable. The target number, the goal we're going to hit is going to be 180. So we have a structure with workforce development into it. We have a structure with evaluation. We brought on people that do grant evaluation. So we're really locked in as far as when it comes to making sure not only are we doing something where it's innovative, but also we're going to have a lot of metrics that show that we're hitting what we want to hit, not just from a have fun, make choruses, but actual structure, actual infrastructure that teachers can build on their own. And so we're excited to start that November 11th or the 12th. So right after Veterans Day, we'll get that started. And also future thank you to the principals from really being opening and helping us out with this. Teachers are going to be jumping in as well too. And we're excited. So I think that's it. Again, thank you to the board, thank you to Lancaster, the community. We've been doing things like this sporadically. We have Sunday classes we do in the community where people come through. So it's built with the community and it just makes it easier for us to do what we do.
All right. Well, Delphi, thank you, Mr. Kennedy. Any comments? Trustee Clewis?
Thank you, Board President. If I can take about 30 seconds. Mr. Kennedy and Ms. Murry, thank you. I had a child who thought the last day of school was going to be the last day of school for a while. She was enrolled in this program and then told about it. Initially, I didn't think she was going to be receptive of it, but after a couple of days, she was, and she really, really enjoyed it. So thank you all. Thank you.
Nice. Thank you. We have internships this summer, so.
She will be there.
Any other questions or comments from the board? Secretary Morris.
President Jones, I would like to see, is that a tiger? What's in your hand? Do it actually move?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
This is a 3D printed little tiger ball that we had. We kind of use this to make people excited about, the tiger robot that we were making, but it fully moves. It's all printed one together. And, would you like to see a little closer?
Yeah, was that sculptured by you?
We had we actually were able to find the model online, but it opens the students' ideas of what they can build. So we saw students building their own assemblies based off that.
So pretty.
Huh?
It's made from one block.
Yeah, it's all made in one piece. So there's no like actual putting together afterwards. It's just the idea, again, causing students to be innovative is like, we want to showcase that at its most basic level.
That is beautiful.
All right. You done?
Yes, thank you.
Any other comments or questions? All right. Delphi, thank you guys again. We look forward to the continued partnership. The next item on our agenda is Tigers Design Process Refresh. Dr. Pereira.
Thank you, President Jones. Ms. Murray, you're still at the podium, so the floor is yours, madam. I think you have some activities.
Yes. Thank you, and good evening again, Board President Jones, distinguished board members, and Superintendent Dr. Pereira. Y'all know I get excited about this, so I bring to you tonight the Tigers Design Refresh. We are currently going around campuses to just remind all of our stakeholders, hence why we're here this evening with you, board, and the community, to make sure that we all understand the Tigers Design process. But just a reminder, STEAM in LISD is not just science, technology, engineering, and arts and math, but also service, teaching, entrepreneurship, athletics, and manufacturing. We want every stakeholder to know that you are a part of the STEAM vision and mission in Lancaster ISD. And so with that, we have our own adaptation of the engineering design process, the Tigers design process, that's used for critical thinking and problem solving. This is in alignment with the TEA STEM ecosystem. And as you know, years ago, we were designated a T-STEM district. Well, since then, the state has said that we no longer want just standalone academies or schools within the schools, that the STEM model, STEM pedagogy, developing those future-ready skills, is good for every student across Texas. And so they have a STEM ecosystem that emphasizes problem-based learning, 5E model of inquiry-based learning, again, developing those STEM fluency skills like communication, collaboration, critical thinking, problem solving, and the engineering design process. So instead of me just talking through the Tigers design process, I want to engage you, board, in an activity. So you have kits. At your, on the dais, you have kits with you, yes, a bag, and I've called an audible. We facilitated this activity, so we've kind of modified it just a tiny bit. But one of the most popular design challenges are bridges, all types of bridges, and we know how important bridges are, and building a bridge is multidisciplinary. There's science, there's math, there are books written on bridges. There's some books, images up there. We can incorporate reading. And unfortunately, there have been some bridges that have collapsed, so we can even bring in social studies and history. So this evening, board, I would like for you to build a straw bridge that is going to hold the most weight. Now, I want you to take a look at this cup, because you need to also look at the diameter of the cup, and the circumference and the width and all of that, so that you can understand that the cup has to sit on your bridge as well. And there are pennies in the cup, so we can keep adding pennies to see if your bridge is going to hold. So you are challenged to build a straw bridge that is at least 1 foot in length, that's 12 inches, but I must tell you, your straws are only 10¼ inches long. Okay? Your straws are only 10¼ inches long. So using the material in your bag, you must build a straw bridge that will hold the most weight. And I want you to take about 1 minute to 1.5 minutes to just think about it. And with your shoulder partner, talk about what you could do to build that bridge. Now, community, I want you engaged too. You talk about, if you had the material, what would you do to build that bridge? And how could you make that 1 foot long out of those 10¼ inch straws? 1.5 minutes. They have 12. Anybody else want to try? Communicate, collaborate, critically think, and problem solve. There are 12 straws, scissors, tape. No cups. No cups. No cups. We took away, I modified it. We took away the cups. All right, board, you should have at least thought and generated an idea of how you would build. Now I'm going to give you 3 minutes to build, and that's just for the sake of time. 3 minutes to build as much as you can. You may begin. Anybody ready to test?
I'm thinking I'll have mine ready next board meeting.
It is so great to see you guys engaged. You're acting just like the kids. They don't want to stop. But as you're building, let's reflect. So the Tigers design process requires us to think first, imagine a plan, generate that plan, execute that plan, refine it, and then share out. Now, it's not a linear process because we might have to go back. It's recursive. We think and imagine, and as soon as we start generating, might have to go back and think some more. That's okay, Trustee Morris. It's part of the process. So what I'd like to hear from you guys What I'd like to hear from a couple of you, please engage and interact, is reflecting on the process. It's all about the process, right? What would you do differently if you had more time? Trustee Hamilton, I'm sorry, say it again.
I would have additional supplies.
Additional supplies. Sometimes we got to work with what we got.
You told me this had to hold up a couple of pennies. I have straws, and these are cheap straws at that.
No, you didn't go there.
No, they're cracking up.
Believe it or not, it's been done. It was done at LMS.
Look, I need some more supplies.
Trustee Smith, you had a reflection?
Yeah, I'd hire an engineering company.
You'd hire an engineering company.
Somebody know what they're doing.
Somebody know what they're doing.
Unlike me, yeah.
Girl, I think it's up too high. You gotta keep it low.
Trustee Nichols, you said you keep it low.
Yeah, this bar is too high. We need to bring it down some so it can bounce a little bit. You have some more flexibility. And this tape is not strong enough.
And see, there was no height requirement, so you are right on point. You could have kept it low.
Yeah, and I need my glue gun. If we have the glue gun, we can use the glue gun.
Yeah, I built something.
Look, can we see what you guys have come up with thus far? Can we get some pictures?
Just don't put nothing on top of it.
I won't test it. I won't test it. But I like where you were going with that. Incomplete. Okay, I like. So I have a question. That's okay. I like where you were going with that.
Perfect right there.
Trustee Morris, Trustee Cluis. Now, I just got a question. Were you guys trying to imitate this picture? No? Okay, good. Well, as we wrap up the Tigers design process, these are the types of experiences. It's all about experience. These are the types of experiences that we engage our learners in to develop those future-ready skills that we talked about. I'm going to bring up Dr. Knight because, again, our STEM structure is theme for all. That goes from our littlest learners to our graduates. So, Dr. Knight, please help us in the community understand how we even teach it to our smallest learners.
That's what I was going to say. I need to go back to school and learn it.
Well, this will help you. So this is what we teach to the smallest, littlest ones, the ones that were up here earlier doing the pledge. So we have hand gestures that we... Oh, can you hear me better now? Okay. So we have hand gestures that we use with the littlest people so that they can learn the Tigers design themselves. So I want y'all to do it with me. So first you have to think, and then imagine, generate, execute, refine, and then share. So they understand that they have to, just like you had supplies in front of you and you had an opportunity to think, imagine, and generate before you executed and refined. So they learn to TIG before they err.
Right.
I'm going to get mine to stand some kind of way. I bet you stand up.
We've got another bridge out here too. Just
I wouldn't drive no car across it, but.
I won't put the pennies on there, but it's holding scissors. Good job, good job, good job, finance team. with low budget straws, okay. And just also, as we partner with our different industry partners and business partners, such as 21st Ed and HAKing Innovation, they also incorporate the Tigers design process into the professional learning and the activities for both our staff and our students. So this is how we dream, believe, and roar.
Right.
Oh, that was a couple of pennies you thought we
It was just, we just add weight to it, Trustee.
We're going to be falling off that bridge.
All right, any other comments from Ms. Murry? All right, thank you very much. And this,
I think we need something like this every board meeting to kind of mic us up.
No, that's okay. All right. Thank you again. We're looking forward to a lot of this STEM design. The next item on our agenda is campus highlights, and we're going to have Beltline Elementary School, which is in District 5. Dr. Pereira.
Okay. I'm going to bring forward Ms. Stevenson, and I have to say that this is probably the funniest board meeting I have been to, and I love it. I need to laugh, especially after today. Ms. Stevenson, you have a well-prepared presentation, so I'm going to turn the floor over to you, madam. Ms. Morrison's still working on her bridge.
Thank you. Good evening, Board President Jones, distinguished board members, and Superintendent Dr. Pereira. I am TaTanisha Stevenson, the Executive Principal of Beltline Teaching and Service Academy, and I want to greet you on behalf of my team, which also includes the LISD Counselor of the Month this month, Ms. Ashley Kimbrough, who is in the audience this evening. At BLE, At BLE, our theme this year is Watch Us Work. And because BLE houses the executive principal, we do all things in an executive way, including and especially our students. So currently we have 569 students enrolled, which is an increase from last school year. We have grown this year by almost 70 students in pre-K. We added 3 pre-K 4 classrooms, including 2 bilingual pre-K 4 and 1 Head Start classroom. We had a very smooth transition because 2 of the teachers worked for me at Houston Elementary, and many of the parents of these students knew me because I was their siblings' principal. This was intentional and great forethought on the part of Superintendent Dr. Pereira and her team. Our early childhood teachers are highly sought after. I received lots of calls and emails all summer long from families that wanted to be a part of Beltline Elementary. This is because of our great staff and the high quality of teachers we have at Beltline Elementary. We have a staff of 36 this year. We added 4 additional staff members and 4 aides with the addition of pre-K 4 and additional SPED staff. Only 4 of our staff are working on certification, and all are in their 2nd or 3rd year of being in programs. Here I've included our beginning of year map data. Certainly we are glad to see that none of our achievement percentiles for these areas are starting in the red, which is a great place for us to start. The areas of opportunity, of course, are 3, 5 math, and also our GLOWs are kindergarten, 1st grade, and 5th grade reading. For science and language map data, our GLOWs are 2nd grade science and language, and that should say 4th grade language. So of course, we want Beltline to be a place where students want to come to school and have an executive experience. We celebrate and recognize our students for being Students of the Month, AB Honor Roll, and perfect attendance. One thing that students really love is our house system.
We'll be electing House leaders to coincide with our nation's elections, and our students enjoy a sense of belonging and collegiality in the houses. Right now at Beltline Elementary, we have Coding Club, BLE Cheer, BLE in Motion Dance Team, and Girl Scouts. Students receive free dress passes if their homeroom had 97% attendance or better. And also, our fifth graders won in attendance for having the highest percentage of attendance in September, which was 98%. Things like clubs, incentives, and our October dress-up calendar make students not want to miss school. We ended September with an overall attendance percentage of 94.62. And just like our students, we want our executive staff to want to come to work and continue working at Beltline Elementary. I am proud to say that we were the first campus that was fully staffed in July, and only 6 of our staff left Beltline at the end of the 23-24 school year. 3 of those people were promoted to another position in the district, 1 transferred, we had 1 retiree, and we only had 1 resignation. One of our priorities as an executive campus is that we build the capacity of our leaders. We have collaborative learning leaders now in Lancaster ISD with implementation of the TEXI model. We started this summer with our CLLs with what I call plenary, and our leaders laid a framework of success for the entire school year in June. We have staff that stands out, including Ms. Hatley, who is pictured here, who is our STEAM teacher. So those Tiger design process activities that you did, she does those kinds of things every day with our students from pre-K3 to 5th grade. So some incentives that we've had this year for our teachers, we had on the very first day of school, here's the tea. You made our first day sweet, and also you crushed it at the end of the first 6 weeks. And we over-communicate at Beltline Elementary. We empower our staff with weekly peaks at the week, which includes a staff member and teacher of the week. And as you guys know, when you enter Beltline Elementary, there's a feeling when you enter Beltline, a buzz. And we pride ourselves on having a great climate and culture. So our executive behavior extends to our parents, community, and business partners. We've already had our fall PTO meeting with great turnout, our family STEAM night, and Grandparents' Day parade. And I want to mention that we are the originators of this parade, which had a grand turnout. The parade started at 9 a.m. It ended at 9:45 a.m. So that kind of lets you know about how many cars we had in the parade. We received community support from Concord Church, Shirley Charles Foundation, Grambling, and Mississippi State in the Childhood Hunger Initiative sponsored by Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. Our business partners are Walmart, our neighborhood Walmart, and local Golden Chick. If you go to the Golden Chick that's on Pleasant Run and you purchase churros, the proceeds are gonna go to Beltline Elementary. Also, support from Equitable Advisors, Dallas County Peace Officer Association, and we receive school supplies from Ghost Riders Extreme Motorcycle Club. Finally, some of our goals are that we are building teacher capacity and leaders. So a lot of the leaders that you see here in the district started at Beltline. We have an executive approach to everything we do, and we have increased early childhood enrollment, and we made a smooth transition of all the pre-K4 classes that came from Houston Elementary. Our goals are that we are running out of space at Beltline Elementary because we are growing with the addition of the new classes, and based on our math data, we're improving our math instruction with new strategies and interventions. So that concludes my presentation. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to share all of the great things happening at Beltline Teaching and Service Academy. Please follow us on social media on X at BLE Lancaster and on Facebook at Beltline Elementary, Lancaster ISD. Watch us work.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Stevenson. All right, we will go on to our next item, which is the adoption of the consent agenda. You guys have that on your agenda, and I will go through, we have A through I. We have minutes, October 9th, September 19th, September 4th. Consider approval of the renewal of Region 10 contract services greater than $50,000 related to the Instructional Services Department for 2024-25 school year. Consider approval of roof restoration at Seek Building, Police Station, and Tiger Stadium. Consider approval of T-Mobile Ground Tower lease agreement. Discussion of budget amendments. A, creation of Function 32 moving funds to Function 31. Positions from Counseling and Social Work amend from 11 to 36 for Fine Arts. Charter buses and instruction amend from 11 to 31 for CCMR. College Board testing software. Consider approval of designating authorized representative to Lone Star. Investment pool by adding Dr. Pereira, Superintendent. Consider approval of designating authorized representative to Text Pool Investment Pool by adding Dr. Pereira, Superintendent. Consider approval for requests for proposals, cybersecurity products and service vendors. And I consider approval of Lone Star Governance Board time use tracker for September 19th, 2024. This information was presented during the work session. Trustee Whitfield. Somebody. Trustee Whitfield.
Okay. Can everyone hear me okay? Okay. I'm sorry. I'm trying to listen to the board meeting on another system, so there's a little delay. With that said, for the adoption of the consent agenda, I am requesting to pull item 10, E1, 22, 23.
Okay, you mean 10E, A, B, and C? I'm not sure what's going on.
Can you hear me okay? I'm not sure if you want to say
Okay.
anything.
All right, yes. So we have a request to pull, thank you very much, Vice President Smith. 10E. Are there any other items? And that's going to be 10E, 1, 2, and 3. Any other items?
I apologize, item 10H1.
You sound like Darth Vader right now. Thank you, digitized.
I'm sorry, I'm not sure if you heard me. I apologize. In item 10H1. I'm sorry. Okay, so can you hear me now? Okay. What about now? Okay. That's what I was speaking of. I have to use another device to listen to you guys because I'm not sure exactly what's going on in there. But however, I'm not sure if you heard me, but my request was to pull 10H1, 10E3, 10E2, and 10E1 from the consent agenda. It's the consent agenda.
Okay, so we have a request to pull item E, 1, 2, and 3, and item H. All right, with that being said, do I have a motion to pass consent agenda excluding those items at this time?
President Jones, I'll make the motion to approve all of the consent agenda with the exception of the items that Mrs. Trustee Whitfield pulled, which I think was 10E and 10H.
Yes, sir.
Second.
We have a motion by Trustee Cluis, properly seconded by Vice President Smith, to adopt the consent agenda excluding items E and item H. With that being said, I'll now request a vote. Trustee Hamilton? Trustee Nichols?
No.
President Smith?
No.
Okay, so now, let's make clarification. We're looking to approve the consent agenda, excluding those pulled items. Okay. And then we have Secretary Morris.
No.
Clarify this for me, because the motion was made to approve the consent agenda with the exception of 2 items that are being pulled, correct?
Correct.
And we're voting against pulling those exceptions.
Yes.
Okay. Trustee Whitfield. Would you add?
Okay, no.
Okay. Motion fails.
I voted no, I'm not sure if you heard me.
Yes.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion.
Vice President Smith.
My motion that we approve the consent agenda is written.
Second.
We have a motion by Vice President Smith and probably second by
Yes.
Trustee Hamilton to approve the consent
Can you hear me?
agenda as written. As presented, A through I. Is there any discussion?
None.
Okay, hearing none, we'll now take a vote. Trustee Cluis.
Yes.
Secretary Morris.
Yes.
Vice President Smith.
Yes.
Trustee Nichols.
Yes.
Trustee Hamilton.
Yes.
Trustee Whitfield.
No.
Okay, myself voting yes, motion passes 6-1. We will now go to our action items. The first action item we have is to discuss and consider approval of the district campus improvement plans.
I'm sorry.
Dr. Pereira.
Did I dismiss them?
There's some feedback here. Thank you, President Jones. I'm going to call forward Dr. Walker to present that information to our board and our community.
Good evening, Board Chair, esteemed board members, Superintendent, Dr. Pereira. I am just going to do a short overview of what was discussed at the workshop. Prior to the workshop, we had our annual District Advisory Committee meeting to give feedback or to gain feedback from the community on our district improvement plan. I do want to make a note that if you watch other boards, other school districts, you may notice that they do this process a little bit earlier in the school year. That is because they are July 1 school districts. So we start school prior to having an approved budget and having an approved DIP, but we do capture those things that we do from the beginning of the school year. So on October 2nd, we had our DIP meeting, and but prior to that, we even sent out the draft DIP to our district stakeholders, those who were involved in the process. So while there, we talked about the purpose of the meeting, we reviewed our problem statements, we collected feedback, which you'll see around the boardroom. These will be up through the November board meeting. And so if you just so happen to not have anything to do, want to drop by, fill out a couple of sticky notes, we welcome you to come in here. And then we discuss future dates. So one thing that differentiates our district a bit is that when you all adopted your board goals for the school district, we made sure that our DIP was a reflection of taking all of the efforts in the district to accomplish the goals that you set out for our district stakeholders. And so with that, we developed problem statements to help us to think about what our performance objectives and our strategies are to reach those goals. So I'll go through really quickly and not highlight all of them, but highlight those that are a little bit different from the years past. And so we've come to you and we've talked to you about some of our demographic needs. And one of the things that we've talked to you about ad nauseum sometimes, or as the pool of certified teachers or lack thereof. We've also highlighted that we also have a very shallow pool for classroom paraprofessionals. There's a great thing that's happening here in the Lancaster area with the growth of some of the warehouses around. However, we compete with them for the talent pool of who's going to work in our classrooms to assist. So sometimes we can't compete. We do our best. We tap into our parents. We tap into many of our stakeholders who want to help our schools and are in a position to be able to do so through our paraprofessional program. We identify and look at our student learning needs. This is a problem statement, but we are taking it from some of the positives that have happened in the district. So we've identified interventions of success through systems developed to raise GWC, out of school improvement. There is a need to intentionally scale these systems to all schools, but specifically our focus schools, which this year are LMS in Houston. We've looked at problem statements around our district processes and program needs, and again, our workforce trends were things that we talked about when we developed strategies to accomplish the goals. And lastly, the perception. There's perception, or there's a reality that enrollment data across the state shows the need for developing a comprehensive recapturing and retaining plan to ensure parents know the benefits of staying in Lancaster ISD. You've heard a bit about things that we do to pay attention to culture. When Ms. Stevenson, our executive principal, talked about the executive experience on her campus, but also with a parent coming here to talk about, the care and attention that we've given to their situation in particular. And so those are things that we try to do. We try to make it a personalized experience, but we know that those things help us to retain students, but also recapture those who have gone away and hopefully capture new students. So normally at this time, I would give an opportunity to give feedback. I won't do that tonight, but I will say that you all have sticky notes there at the dais, and then there's also we have some up here in the back if anyone would like to add to the feedback. One thing that we asked was for folks to initial on their sticky note. And that was somewhat of a commitment that we're in this together, and this is your feedback that you're giving and your commitment to help us with that. Future meetings to come, those will be virtual. We did hear from many of our stakeholders that if we could do one or two virtual, that helps them a whole lot to continue to stay involved. So we look to do a mid-year check-in in February and then one at the end of the year. I also gave information about the capital outlay meeting and then the safety meeting there is to come. With the information that you do have summaries from each of our campuses. Our principals did submit a couple of paragraphs about things that they're highlighting on their campus. After this meeting, the new DIPs, the full DIPs will be made available. They may already be made available on our website.
All right, thank you, Dr. Barker. Any questions, comments from the board? All right, hearing none, I just have one item I'd like to request that we add to the district improvement plan and possibly the campus is our HB3 goals.
If you notice, if you go to goal 1, they're actually in this year's, they're somewhere in goal 1. We put them in as one of the performance objectives and the strategy. So they're there now. Because that, I don't know if you passed that on earlier. Someone has passed that on to us. And we did, Dr. Pereira, and we did add them. So you'll see them when we upload the updated copies to the website.
All right, fantastic.
And this does require a board vote. Thank you.
It does, thank you. If there are no any questions, this does require a motion and a second. Do I have a motion? Okay, well, I move. Madam Secretary?
All right. I move that we accept approval of District Campus Improvement Plan as presented by Dr. Cassandra Barker.
Okay. Have a motion by Secretary Morris,
Second.
second by Trustee Hamilton. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll take a vote. Trustee Hamilton?
Yes.
Trustee Nichols?
Yes.
Vice President Smith?
Yes.
Secretary Morris?
Yes.
All right. Trustee Cluis?
Yes.
Trustee Whitfield?
Yes.
All right, myself voting yes, motion carries unanimously. The next item on our agenda is discuss and consider approval of Apple lease agreement for CTE programs. Dr. Pereira?
Thank you, President Jones. I'm going to call forward Mr. Anthony Thornhill to present that information to our board and our community. Mr. Thornhill, the floor is yours, sir, when you're ready.
All right, Board President Jones, distinguished board and Superintendent Dr. Pereira, I'm here to present on the recommendation for Apple leases for the CTE program. Currently, our CTE program does not, or have out-of-date computers that are no longer available to be updated. To provide the best learning experience, it is required that we update devices to the CTE program at LMS, BAMO, and LHS. Updating equipment will allow for our students to increase the number of certifications that can be earned across various pathways. Looking at the screen, we are looking to purchase 100 iMacs, 90 iPads with 90 iPad cases, 60 MacBook Pros, and 3 charging carts to hold those devices. The purchase includes a 4-year Apple Care, similar to the one policy that we have for the teachers, for the staff. We also receive a JAM license, which allows us to manage the devices, such as pushing out apps to those programs, as well as tracking and locking devices if they become misplaced. And also Apple Deployment Services, which allows us for quick setup and asset tagging. The lease will be a 4-year lease with annual payments of $97,467 for a total of $389,870. This is a lease to own, meaning that the district will own the devices at the final lease payment. Apple currently has a promotion of 0% interest rate. If approved, the payments will come from our CTE budget. And at this time, I ask that you consider approval for the lease option for Apple devices for our CTE program. Any questions?
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Thornhill. Any questions? Trustee Cluis?
So it's a purchase, or a lease rather, not a purchase, is what you're saying?
Correct. It's a 4-year lease.
Okay.
All right, any other questions? Yes. Secretary Morris?
President, thank you. Now, some of the laptops or the computers, if you go back, will they be used by or issued to any students, the iPads? Are they all for teachers?
All these devices are for our CTE students.
For your students?
For the students.
So will the students have to pay anything like for a supplemental for damages or, like physical damage to it or anything like that?
No.
It'll all be covered under the one warranty?
No, ma'am. Yes, so it's currently under our 4-year Apple Care plan. So any damages, water damage, cracked screen, dropped, any accidental is covered. Everything's covered.
And so with all of these quantities, 100, 90, 90, 60, and 6, at the end of that, and I know we talked about this a couple of years ago, but at the end of this, will those individuals that have those technology, will they be able to purchase?
Not these devices. These are going to continue to stay with our CTE program. That's something we can work on down the line. We've been slightly starting to discuss, but these are going to stay with the program.
They will stay with the program?
They will stay with the CTE program, correct.
All right. Will Apple give us any return to update, upgrade?
So it's not like a typical, they won't upgrade them because we're going to own them. After that last payment, we own them now. They're ours. They're ours. So if we want to do another lease, we have to, whatever the newest model, we have to go out and do another lease agreement.
And what will happen with these?
We'll continue to use them. Apple are very reliable. So I have an Apple from 10 years ago. So these are continue to be used in the program. And, we get new ones, we repurpose them somewhere else.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, Secretary Morris, Mr. Thornhill. Any additional questions, comments? If not, this does require a motion.
Mr. President, I move that we approve the lease of Apple, approval of the Apple lease agreement for CTE program.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and properly second. The motion was made by Secretary Morris, seconded by Vice President Smith. We'll now take a vote. Trustee Whitfield?
Yes.
Trustee Hamilton?
Yes.
Trustee Nichols?
Yes.
Vice President Smith?
Yes.
Secretary Morris?
Yes.
Trustee Cluis?
Yes.
Myself voting yes, motion carries 7-0. Thank you very much for that. Mr. Stonehill, you excited, man? All right,
Of course,
there we
I'll
go.
wait. What is it?
I can tell, man. You okay?
I am excited, yes.
All right, the next item is to discuss and consider for approval of lease of Dell laptops for the CTE programs. Dr. Pereira.
Yes, thank you, President Jones. Mr. Thornhill is at the podium, so we'll have him continue.
Board President, distinguished board, and Superintendent Dr. Bird, I'm here to present on the recommendation for Dell devices for the CTE department. After evaluating the needs of the CTE courses, it has been determined that Pathways have software requirements that is not compatible with Apple devices. So we just presented on Apple, of course. So we have a robotics program as well as engineering programs that Apple devices just not compatible. Therefore, we have to get Dell devices to make sure they have the most up-to-date equipment and that they're able to continue to earn certifications. We are looking to purchase 90 Dell Latitude, the 3590 series, and 3 charging cards to store the devices. These devices also come with the protected plan. It's called Support Plus, which again covers all accidental, anything that happens to the device, broken, dropped, cracked screen, water damage. It's all covered under this warranty. The Dell lease is a 3-year lease for 36 months. Annual payments of $37,932 for a total of $108,360. Please note on the screen, it's a little larger. We did have a change in the budget, so I didn't get a chance to change it, but it's actually lower, so it's 37 instead of 39 you see on the screen. This lease does include a 4.9 interest rate. At the end of the lease, we will again own these devices and we can use them as the district sees fit. So at this time, I ask that you consider the approval of the lease option for Dell devices in the CTE program.
All right, thank you. Mr. Thornhill. Any questions, comments here?
Board President, I have a question. Mr. Thornhill, so this is a lease to own?
Yes, sir.
Okay, because I heard the word purchase, but it's lease to own is what it, okay.
All right.
Sir.
There are no other questions. This does require a motion.
Mr. President, I make a motion that we approve for the approval of the leases to the Dell laptops for CTE programs.
I second it.
Okay, it's been moved by Trustee Hamilton, second by Trustee Nichols. Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll now take a vote. Trustee Cluis?
Yes.
Secretary Morris?
Yes.
Vice President Smith?
Yes.
Trustee Nichols?
Yes.
Trustee Hamilton?
Yes.
Trustee Whitfield?
Yes.
Myself voting yes, motion passes unanimously. And Mr. Thornhill was so excited he left the building. All right. Next item on our agenda is to consider the approval of addendum to the October budget amendment below. Amend from 11 to 71 for Dell and Apple leases for CTE department. Dr. Pereira.
Thank you, President Jones. Again, Ms. TaTanisha Mosley will present that information to our board and our community. Ms. Mosley, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon, Board President, board members, and Dr. Pereira. Tonight I present a request to amend an addendum to the October budget amendment that just was previously approved in the consent agenda. Due to the approval of the Dell leases, we need to code those funds in the correct function, which is 71, because that is the right to use leased asset for the amount of $136,000. The leases for the Dell computers, as he spoke before, is $37,932, so I'm requesting $38,000. And for the Apple computers, it was $97,467.80, and I'm requesting $98,000. This is a zero impact to the budget, and it's it's, we're aligning this according to what the Texas Education Agency Financial Accountability System Resource Guide says we should code these leases to. And that is a depiction of the math. That was the proposed amendment that you approved earlier, and that's the proposed amendment that I'm requesting now. It is just removing the 136 from function 11, where the money was budgeted previously, down to 71 to account for it in the proper function code. Any questions?
All right, thank you very much, CFO Mosley. Any questions on this item? All right, hearing none. Do I have a motion?
Mr. President,
Vice President Smith?
I motion that we approve the addendum to the October budget amendment to include those items mentioned.
Okay, we have a motion.
Second.
Second by Trustee Cluis. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll now take a vote. Trustee Cluis?
Yes.
Secretary Morris?
Yes.
Vice President Smith?
Yes.
Trustee Nichols?
Yes.
Trustee Hamilton?
Yes.
Trustee Whitfield?
Yes.
Myself voting yes. Motion passes 7-0. Congratulations. Mr. Thornhill has left the building. The next item on our agenda is consider approval of lineage donation lineage donation for culinary arts. Dr. Pereira.
Thank you, President Jones. We have Mr. Haregrove here Dr. Haregrove here to share that information with our board and our community. Dr. Haregrove.
Thank you. President Jones, distinguished member, superintendent, Dr. Pereira, I'm going to go over, a donation that we are seeking from one of our many burgeoning partnerships. This one's going to involve Lineage. So Lineage is a food distribution and storage warehouse company. They have two massive sites here near us. They reached out to us regarding our culinary department's food truck, and they would like to donate items to that, particularly meat, as well as other potential food donations to the culinary department as a whole. And so they have climate controlled, and so they end up with more food than they can distribute, and so that's why they'd like to have us benefit from that. So they'd like to donate food, as I mentioned. They also want to expand beyond that into work-based learning opportunities for our students as well. Since this is an ongoing discussion between myself and them and our culinary department, we project that there might be a down-the-road element in which this donation quantity could be justified at over $5,000. We don't know at this time, but we're trying to be proactive and want to get your approval in the event that it does go over that. Obviously, my hope is to come to these meetings often with other donations from other companies, but we're going to start with Lineage at this time. So I would like to ask for your approval in that.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Hargrove. Keep getting that money, man. All right, any questions or comments on this item? Hearing none, is there a motion?
I make a motion that we approve the Lineage donation to culinary arts.
Second.
Have a motion by Trustee Hamilton, seconded by Vice President Smith. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll now take a vote. Trustee Hamilton?
Yes.
Trustee Nichols?
Yes.
Vice President Smith?
Yes, sir.
Secretary Morris?
Yes.
Trustee Cluis?
Yes.
Trustee Whitfield?
Yes.
Myself voting yes, motion passes unanimously. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
And he stayed in the building, I noticed that, right? He's bringing in money, he stays. Thornhill spending money, he leaves. Next item, discuss and consider approval of 2 federal safety grant awards. Dr. Pereira.
Thank you, President Jones. I'm going to call forward Andy Knight, Dr. Andy Knight, to share that information with our board and our community.
Good evening, President Jones, esteemed trustees, and Dr. Pereira. I excitedly come tonight seeking approval for 2 grants that we were recently awarded through the Department of Justice. The U.S. Department of Justice Office of Community-Oriented Policing Services awarded us the 2024 COP School Violence Prevention Program grant for $375,000. Additionally, we received the 2024 Patrick Leahy Bulletproof Vest Partnership Grant for $1,333.31 through the Bureau of Justice Assistance. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
All right, thank you, Dr. Knight. This is money coming in again. All right, any questions or comments? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
board approves the second federal safety grant award that's presented by Dr. Knight.
Okay, we have a motion to consider the approval of 2 federal safety grants,
And I'll second it.
and seconded by trustee Nichols. If we'll take a vote, trustee Cluis?
I'm sorry, I was.
Trustee Cluis, we go for the vote.
Yes.
Secretary Morris?
Yes.
Vice President Smith?
Yes.
Trustee Nichols?
Yes.
Trustee Hamilton?
Yes.
Trustee Whitfield?
Yes.
Myself voting yes, motion passes unanimously. Thank you very much for this $376 and some change $1,000. All right, the next item on our agenda is discussion of athletics request for approval of the following running Tigers boys basketball trip. A Pride of the East Side showcase at Douglas High School in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, on November 21st through November 23rd, 2024. Dr. Pereira.
Thank you, President Jones. Again, Ms. Brown, the floor is yours, sir, to present that information to our board and our community.
Thank you, Dr. Pereira. Good evening, President Jones, distinguished board members, and again, Dr. Pereira. I'm here to talk about the Running Tigers boys basketball upcoming potential trip to Oklahoma City. This is the Pride of Eastside, the showcase that's put on by the school there. It's one of the showcases, big showcases that's put on there in the city of Oklahoma City and the state of Oklahoma. Just a few key highlights. Just for our record, our boys basketball team were the 2024 state champions this past season. A little bit about this tournament. It does provide 2 games. They will also provide our team with hotel expenses and the team with coaches and food. And that's really the general operating costs. The biggest cost for us, and that's coming out of the basketball activity account, that's the cost of charter buses because we're going out of state. And that's valued right there at $7,000 on the high end. It's really coming in a little bit lower. So that's it. It'll be an exciting tournament, and we hope to come back with that championship in Oklahoma.
Thank you very much, Coach Brown.
You're welcome.
Off now, so that may cause too much laughter out here. That's okay. Are there any questions or comments about this item? All right, hearing none, I will entertain a motion.
Mr. President,
Vice President Smith.
I move that we approve the following Running Tigers boys basketball trip, the Pride of the East Side showcase at Douglas High School in Oklahoma City on November 21st through 23rd.
Second.
Okay, a motion by Vice President Smith, second by Secretary Morris. Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll take a vote. And Trustee Whitfield?
Yes.
Trustee Cluis?
Yes.
Vice Secretary Morris?
Yes.
Vice President Smith?
Yes.
Trustee Nichols?
Yes.
Trustee Hamilton?
Yes.
Myself voting yes. Motion passes unanimously. I'll bring it back to hardware. All right. The next item on our agenda are board matters. Board, we are looking to have the superintendent evaluation at the November 13th work session. So should be getting information to us pretty soon to review in preparation for that. Also, as relates to our board meeting, we have several members of administration and the board attending the NAPSI conference. So we're looking to alter that board meeting date to possibly that Tuesday rather than that Thursday of the same week, which will still give us ample time to prepare accordingly. So if you guys would send me a communication if that time works for you. Or if not, we'll have administration send out a doodle to see who can attend that meeting on that Tuesday and apply as quickly as possible so we can make sure we can get that posted and accordingly. The other 2 items that we have is the CUBE conference, which is coming up next week, and then the NAPSI conference, which is November 20th through the 24th. If there are no other questions or comments on that item, the next item on our agenda is adjournment. Yes.
I have a question.
Trustee Hamilton.
Going back to your board matters A, the evaluation will be using the same tool as last year?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you for clarity.
All right, if there are no other questions or comments, the next item on our agenda is adjournment. Do I have a motion to adjourn? I move it. All right. It's been properly moved and seconded. All in favor, aye? Aye. We are so adjourned at 9:05 p.m. We're 5 minutes over.